Hello students, this video is about order Welwitschales of the gymnosperm. Students, the phylogeny, morphology and ecology of Welwitschia make it one of the most extraordinary plant species on earth and plant kingdom. Phylogenetically, it is isolated within the order Nyttales. The genus Welwitschia is also called as a living fossils like cycads and gingoiles due to presence of fossils and living genus simultaneously. The phylogenetic position of the group is uncertain and confusing for the many botanists. It was sometimes placed close to the angiosperm due to similar characters, but has recently been associated with the conifers on the basis of molecular studies. Initially, it is placed in Nyttales that comprises three extant genera, and these are Ephedra, Nyctum and Welwitschia, which are morphologically very distinct. As Ephedra and Nyctum include trees, shrubs, vines and climber, as I explained to you earlier in my previous video, with proliferate branching and decussate or whorled phyllotaxis. While Welwitschia is unusual in having a very condensed unbranched stem and two persistent leaves that grow for the entire life of the plant, as you can see in this image. The plants are mostly dioecious. Rarely they are monoecious. You know very well dioecious plants are those where male and female reproductive structure are present on the separate male and female plants. The ovule and microsporophylls are terminal, worn in small compound unisexual cones. The mature seeds are small to large. The microsporangia are worn in synangia. Students, you can find synangia like xylotum in case of Welwitschia. Ephedra is xerophytic and Welwitschia is extreme xerophytic. So it is the best example of plasmophytes, which grow solely in the sand. While Nyctum is tropical genus with a wider ecological range inhabiting moist to rather dry environments. The third extant genus of this group, that is Nyttale, is the monotypic Welwitschia, which is confined to arid areas of southwest Africa. Morphologically, the plant is unusual in that it consists of a short cone-shaped axis, two strap-shaped leaves that arise from its rim, and a deep-seated taproot. Seeds have conspicuous lateral wings formed by fusion of pair of bracts. Pollen of Welwitschia mirabilis is like that of Ephedra, but appears to possess a permanent leptoma. Leptoma is a thin balled area on pollen grains. Sometimes pollen grains shed the exine at germination. Students, Dr. Friedrich Welwitsch, an Australian physician, explorer and botanist, discovered Welwitschia in 1859 from Angola, an African country. And it is the Dr. Hooker, a British botanist, who named the genus in honor of Dr. Welwitsch. Welwitschia occur in desert or semi-desert region of southwest Africa, so it is known as zomophyte, where the rainfall is extremely meager. Students, Welwitschia mirabilis name is given by Hooker in 1863 and common name of the plant is tree thumbo. Next is taxonomy. Welwitschia mirabilis is the sole species in genus Welwitschia of order Welwitschales and family Welwitschaceae. Synonym for these include Thombaceae, that is family, Thumba, that is genus, Welwitschia bensae, Thumbo bensae and Thumbo strobiliferae are the synonyms for the species. Some authorities even put it in a class by itself, that is Welwitschopsida. However, others place it in class Nyttopsida. So the position is quite confusing. The family seemed to have arisen by a whole genome duplication. that is by polyploidy, event that separated it from the clade now represented by Needham. Leuenberger has described the Angolan and Nambian as two subspecies differentiated on the basis of male cone characters. The subspecies are Welwitschia mirabilis Hook, subspecies mirabilis, and Welwitschia mirabilis Hook, subspecies nimbiana. Next is distribution and ecology. A distinct distribution is in southwest Africa. The type locality is in the vicinity of Cabo Negro on the coast of Angola, while more widely dispersed populations are found from the coast to 200 km inland in Namibia. The area is extremely arid, receiving no rainfall in some years, and most specimens are found within 80 km of the coast in a fog belt, suggesting that the fog is an important moisture source for the Welwitschia. Students, Welwitschia mirabilis is endemic to Southwest Africa, means it is only present in Southwest Africa or restricted to the Africa. Distinguishing characters of the Welwitschia. The adult sporophyte of Welwitschia has no parallel in the plant kingdom, means they are very unique in them. It resembles gigantic turnip and reaches a diameter of more than 1 meter. The stem consists of a tough axis shaped like an inverted cone and has a deep apical depression. Most of the stem is buried in the sandy soil, its lower part tapering abruptly to an extremely long carrot-like taproot which penetrates the soil between 1 to 1.5 meter deep before it split into numerous thin roots. As you can see in these images, most of the portion of the stem remain buried in the sand. The exposed portion of the stem consists of massive woody concave disc which bears two opposite and decussate strap-shaped leaves. So you can see a concave woody disc of the Welwitschia. The leaves grow continuously throughout the life of the plant from a basal meristem, and tip dies back continuously. The distal end of the leaf split and become fragged and extensive. It lies twisted or contorted manner along the surface of the ground. As you can see in this image, initially there are only 2 leaves, but later on it split and produce ribbon-shaped strips which lies twisted on the ground surface. Old plant may be more than 100 years. Plant occur and survive in such adverse conditions for a very long period, mainly because of presence of exceptionally long taproot system. The young plant in which the taproot system is not yet fully developed utilize the condensed moisture of dew and fog. Plant also occur widely in the Nim Desert of Namibia. The estimated lifespan of Welwitschia is 400 to 1500 years, although the cause of death is unknown. Von Billard stated that it is due to lethal temperature caused by lack of transpiration due to shortage of water. As far as the photosynthesis pathway is concerned, Welwitschia was considered to be a calm plant. You know very well, calm plant are the succulents plant which are adapted to perform photosynthesis in extreme xeric condition. But studies of Von Billard suggest it is a C3 plant. Students, along with parallel venation, countless longitudinal veins are interlaced by the antagonizing winglets which form irregular masses or areolae. The leaves split into ribbon-like structure and extend in a twisted or contorted manner along the surface of the ground. Throughout the life of the plant, both leaves grow continuously from a basal meristem. The leaves bear syndactylic stomata. A long, well-developed taproot system is the characteristic feature of this plant. You can see in this image taproot system and leaves of the plant. Anatomy of the Welwitschia. Students, except taproot system, a thick and ridged corky layer covers the upper surface of the stem. A ring of conjoined collateral open and dark vascular bundle is present, and you know very well explanation of these terms. Young stem which also contain a centrally located distinct pith. Thick-walled spicular cells encrusted with calcium oxalate crystals are present in the cortex and pith both. The older stem, however, possesses a saucer-shaped mass. Successive zone of xylem and phloem, as observed in Cycas and Netum, are also observed in very old stem of Welwitschia. Isolated vessels are also present in the stem. Sieve cells and phloem parenchyma constitute the phloem. As far as the anatomy of leaf is concerned, a layer of thickly cuticularized lower and upper epidermis is present. As I explained to you earlier, stomata are syncytiochilic, means both subsidiary cells and guard cells arises from the same mother cell. Palisade tissue alternate with the parenchyma patches on both upper and lower epidermis. Spongy tissue fills the space between the palisade layers of both the side. Well transfusion tissue, as you have seen in the cycas, is also present, as you can see in this image. Stomata are sunken type and patches of the sclerenchyma are present on both upper and lower surface. Next is reproductive structure of Welwitschia. Students, Welwitschia is strictly a dioecious, means bearing both male and female cone on separate male and female plant, as you can see in these images. First one is plant bearing male cone, while second one is female plant bearing ovule or female cone. The inflorescences develop from a series of several transverse ridges arising parallel to the leaf bases. The branching inflorescence is dicaseal and each branch ends in an attractive cone. Several bracts or cone scales arranged in opposite decussate manner are present in each cone. Because of crimson or scarlet color, the mature cones of the Welwitschia provide a beautiful look, as you can see in these images. This is beautiful appearance of Welwitschia due to cone color. Male strobilus. A male or microsporangiate strobilus or male cone is a compound structure bearing a quadrangular cone axis. You can see here a prominent cone axis present in the male cone. It contains several bracts or cone scales arranged in opposite decussate manner. In the axil of each subtending bracket is present a male flower. Students, here are bracts which fuse to form perianth, and it gives appearance of male cone to the flower as in angiosperm. Two lateral bracts and a perianth are also present in each male flowers. The perianth is formed from two bract-like anterior-posterior play structure, means these bracts fuse to form perianth. Inner to the perianth is present a whorl of 6 microsporangiophores, which remain fused at the base to form a cup-like structure, as you can see in this image. A sterile ovule with a single integument is present in the center of each male flower. At the top of each microsporangiophore is present a synangia. Each synangium is formed by fusion of 3 microsporangia. Each microsporangium contains many pollen grains which are shed through a vertical slit. Pollination is affected either by wind or by insect. Insect pollination is an advanced character to the gymnosperm, which places it very close to the angiosperm. Next is female gametophyte. Students, you can see plants bearing female cone or the ovule. A single megaspore mother cell develops quite deep in the nuclear tissue. Its diploid nucleus divides meiotically, but there is no cross-wall formation. So, a number of nucleus or haploid nuclei of young female gametophyte divide and redivide several times mitotically, but there is no cross-wall formation. So, thousands of the free nuclei are thus formed. As you can see in this image, this is an image of female gametophyte, and you can see very clearly that a large number of free nuclei are present which are produced by mitotic division. At this stage, the cell wall formation starts irregularly and each cell contains varying number of nuclei. Formation of archegonia has not been observed in Welwitschia, as you can see in female gametophyte. Again, it is an evolutionary characteristic. Next is fertilization and post-fertilization changes. Students, Welwitschia is quite unique in fertilization. At the time of fertilization, the pollen tube elongate and grow downward through the nucellus. Simultaneously, the apical cells of the female prothallus elongate and form prothallus tubes, which grow upward. The contact walls between the two tubes dissolve, and it is said that female nuclei pass into the pollen tube, and thus the male and female nuclei fuse with each other to form a fusion nuclei, and this act of fertilization thus takes place in pollen tube. So this makes Welwitschia very unique in fertilization. You can see here pollen tubes growing deep inside the female gametophyte, and fusion of the nuclei takes place in the pollen tube. Students, the diploid zygote nuclei divide and form two-cell proembryo. Upper cells of this proembryo develop into a primary suspensor, while the lower cell divide and redivide to form a large number of secondary suspensor cells and a multicellular embryo. A cap of about 8 cap cell protects the young multicellular embryo, which is pushed down into the prothallus by the elongated suspensor. You can see here cap cell and embryonal initials. Students, again, development of elongated suspensor is an evolutionary character which places Welwitschia close to the angiosperm, as suspensor is supposed to provide nutrition to the developing embryo, and its role is to push embryo deep inside the female gametophyte nucellus or in endosperm. Welwitschia exhibit a high degree of polyembryony because many zygote and young embryos are produced. However, only one embryo initially matures into seed. A later finger-like process called feeder is present in the mature embryo as that in the natum, and its role is to provide nutrition. The winged outer envelope of the ovule mature into a papery structure. Seed germination is apical, that is above the ground, and both the permanent leaves appear soon after the germination. The cotyledons grow for about 6 months and finally die. The somatic number of chromosomes in Welwitschia is 42. Resemblance between Welwitschia and natum. Students, both show vessels in their xylem, broad medullary rays in their xylem, dioecious nature of their plants, compound male and female strobili, almost similar structure of their microsporangia, and similar mode of development of their male gametophyte, ovules of which the inner integuments are produced into a long micropylar tube, either shallow or no pollen chamber. Again, they both have tetrasporic type of development of their female gametophyte. Multinucleate cells in their female gametophyte, the nuclei of which fuse and form polyploid nuclei. Almost similar mode of pollination. Dicotyledonous embryo, a distinct feeder in their embryo. Zygote which do not form free nuclei. So students, that's all about the order Welwitschales. I hope you understood this topic. Thank you for listening.